Hey everybody, this is Roberto, and this is Mindset Recovery. I have been making videos on this platform for over a year, documenting my struggles and successes in my recovery journey. Um, I have had limited success and lots of failure, but am excited to report that after a long road to hoe that I've been on for 35 plus years, I am celebrating 5 months today with this. The Narcotics Anonymous program doesn't actually give out a 5 month chip, but I ordered it online because screw it, I'm celebrating. Um, they give out a newcomer chip, a white chip for surrender for the 1 through 29 days. You don't have to be clean to pick it up. Then they give out a 30-day key tag after 30 days of continuous clean time, days, nights, and weekends, holidays. Then they give out, so that's 30 days, 60 days, and 90 days. And then from 90 days, they skip to 6 months. So that's where I'm at. Anyway, I was going to another fellowship when I was doing my 90 meetings in 90 days. And this particular fellowship, they do give out 4 month, 5 month chips. So I went there and picked up my 4 month recovery chip. But my sponsor said that his experiences that his sponsors have told him, they call that shoplifting. If you only go to meetings to pick up chips, for a lot of times people that have a lot of clean time in the program, some of them, because most people that stop going to meetings, from what I've seen, they end up going back out and using. But there are people who have, I don't know, enough of a network or work their program. I don't know what they do. They don't work the program the way it was designed to work if they don't go to meetings. But there are a few people here and there who've been known to do that after a lot of years clean, and you don't see them at meetings anymore. And then they show up to pick up a 10-year chip or 15-year chip or whatever. And, the general consensus among active members that I've seen is that, if you're in the program and you've got experience, strength, and hope to share, that you should be in meetings, not just for yourself, but because, there's new people here who have no idea how to stay clean. That's what I'm doing here. I don't know how the hell to stay clean. I know how to get high. I'm really good at that. If you need some help with that, I could help you. But, people going into meetings and hearing people share about what's working for them, strategies, suggestions that they have. If I share something that I'm struggling with, maybe they've been through it before, what I mean? And it doesn't have anything to do with recovery. I had somebody sharing in a meeting the other day about custody issues with their ex. Well, guess what? I went through a divorce and custody issues, and I have experience with that. And I was able to share some of my experience with them, and I wasn't the only one in that room who had experience with that. So this person had a wealth of experience that was available to them through people in this program who care about them and have dealt with the same types of things that they were going through. And that is one of the things that I love about this program, is that, I can go in feeling like I'm the only person dealing with what I'm dealing with, and that I'm insane for the kind of thoughts that I'm having, or, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm screwed. What would one do in such a situation? And I've got these people who care about me in the meeting, and one or several of them might know, something that will help me, and they can make a suggestion. Another thing is we had a guy that shared in a meeting the other day. He had like 3 years clean and he'd gone back out. He got back in the program by the grace of God. He got 90 days clean. And then he got some bad news of a serious medical condition. And he went back out. And he thought he was buying his drug of choice, which he wasn't specific about. Something that I've learned in this program is, especially in meetings, they don't really like for you to share, at least around here where I'm at working my program. They don't like you to share specific drugs because people might get triggered. You know, if you were using a certain drug for a period of time and you have some time away from it, and somebody starts talking about how, hey, they, back in the day when they used to use drug Z, or maybe details on how they used said drug, this might make one start to think about perhaps maybe drug Z would be a good option for me today. I mean, I'm just saying. But anyway, he didn't share what the drug of choice was, but what he did share was that whatever he bought did not turn out to be what he thought it was. And as a result, after having had some, I call 3 years significant clean time. And then 90 days after that, and then, I think he had 30 or 60 days, went back out, bought this substance, and his method of delivery apparently was extremely intense because as a result, he died. And he was dead for like 24 minutes. That they had to give him, EMS had to come to revive him. And so he was out for like over 20 minutes and had massive heart failure, and he's got brain damage now. And so he barely made it back in the rooms. I have struggled with being able to see that ends to my disease just because I can't really say I used successfully for 35 years, but as you can see, I am still alive. And I never was revived by EMS. So for me, my disease wants me to look at the differences and not the similarities. So my disease says, well, you know what? If you go and buy whatever drug he was on, and you go and use the method of delivery that he had, then perhaps you'll experience that. But that's not going to happen to you, man. And my disease is trying to kill me, so I can't really trust its advice or suggestions, because the suggestions of my disease are often, hey, let's get drunk, let's go drive a motor vehicle under the influence, and let's go commit some crimes. Let's go buy a drug that can kill you. So his track record of suggestions have not been the best in my life. And thankfully, because of this program, reprogramming my mind with positive things and the truth about this disease instead of the romanticizing that I like to do when I think about, oh, back in the day when I used to, sell this drug and stay up doing this drug and have sex with this person for this amount of time or whatever it was, that's romanticizing. I'm not thinking about the time that I was up for 3 days and I was out of my mind and I was crying for no reason. And, I had to run to another state because the guy that I was getting it from got busted and the police were looking for me. None of that comes into my mind. My disease doesn't say, hey, you know what you should do? You should go get arrested and go to jail and get beat up or get traded for a pack of cigarettes to a guy named Bubba. My disease is not going to come at me from that angle. It will start slow. It will be like, hey, why don't you shoplift that item? Or why don't you take advantage of this individual? Or why don't you lie about, blase, blase. And then it's slowly but surely, those things, once I give into those things, eventually it's going to have me getting traded for a pack of cigarettes to Bubba, or ODing in a hotel room off of a substance that was not what I thought it was. That's how insidious this disease is. They say that, when you get clean, your disease is out in the parking lot doing push-ups and waiting on you to make another mistake or come back to it or whatever. I mean, I added that last part. I guess that's what it's doing. They're saying doing push-ups because it's getting stronger, because this is a progressive disease. And experience has been like, let's say that somebody was, let's just use adult beverages as an example. And I've been drinking maybe 12 adult beverages a day for an extended period of years. And then I start having negative consequences from said beverages. Perhaps, legal problems. Maybe my wife leaves me. Maybe I have cirrhosis of the liver, whatever. And I am forced into a position where I need to stop drinking these adult beverages. So let's say that, I get into a program such as Narcotics Anonymous, and through the steps and going to meetings and getting a sponsor, that I'm able to lose the desire to use said beverages and other substances. And I get some significant clean time. Let's say, for example, 15 years. And then all of a sudden, my disease says to me, hey, man, you haven't drank those beverages in 15 years. You got your life back. You're making good money. You got a house. You got a couple nice cars. Perhaps you could go down to the bar and play some pool and just have one adult beverage. And then, I say, okay, I lose my mind. I go back to the insanity and say, yeah, you know what? You're probably right. Even though I have mounting evidence to show me that this has not been the case ever, 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 has never been my experience when I have utilized this beverage. However, now it's going to be different. And so I go to the bar and I drink that beverage. Well, what the program teaches with the disease being progressive is that eventually I will be not only back to where I was when I first seeked help for dealing with that issue, but, perhaps the 12 beverages a night was where I was at. But now that it's been, many years since I've used, I don't go back to just drinking 12 beverages a night. Now I need, 15 or 24 beverages a night. And, if we're not talking about beverages, if we're talking about things, 12 beverages, depending on what beverage it is, can kill you. However, there are other drugs of choice that, if you're normally been using one bag of it and now you're using 3 bags of it and you haven't used it for 10 years and your tolerance is gone, this is how many addicts die. I know of a guy who he was using a substance and it was a really strong substance, and his plug got put in the mental hospital for 2 months and he was unable to obtain said substance. And so when this person got out of the hospital and he linked up with them, he used the same amount that he had been using before they went in the hospital. And this gentleman is no longer with us because his body's tolerance went down and he thought, hey, you know what? I used to use this much, and so I'm going to use this much. And as a result, he died. So, this disease is no joke. I have fooled with it and thought that I was, in control of it for literally 3.5 decades. And now I'm finally realizing that that was all a crock. Utilizing the methods that are suggested in this program. I have a sponsor. I read program literature. I go to meetings. I pray and meditate every day. I reach out to other addicts in the program, and I am now getting involved in service. I'm chairing at meetings. Getting ready to start going into hospitals and institutions where I go with a group of folks who brings an NA meeting into rehabs and hospital treatment centers and things of this nature. And so, that's the thing. That's what my sponsor suggested. He slowly, it didn't drop a bunch of responsibilities on me when I came in, when I was still struggling to stay clean for any length of time. I mean, I struggle with it now, but I don't have a desire to use. I still think about it sometimes. But they say that any addict can lose the desire to use and find a new way to live. And that has been my experience. I lost the desire to use, and I'm living in a different way. When I want to get high, I do not get high. I find alternatives to that. And I've found tools that help me. And so that's my new way to live. I don't have to get high every time I get stressed out or pissed off or mad or whatever, scared, don't feel good, having a bad day. It was always, drugs. And now it's like, you know what? Drugs is not a choice. So let's see what else I can do. And this program teaches me what else I can do. So let me see how much time there is that has gone by, because some of my videos have run longer. When I first started the channel, I wanted to stay about 15 minutes so that I didn't lose people's attention span. So I'm looking at 17 minutes right now. I think that's probably a good place to stop. You can always send me a message on here if you want to. I don't check them very much, so my suggestion is my personal email, which I do check daily, and it's paster67@hotmail.com. And that's P as in Paul, IAS as in Sam, T as in tornado, ER67@hotmail.com. Feel free to hit me up. I would put mindset recovery or mindset or recovery or something of that nature in the message subject, so that I will know what it is, because I probably won't know who you are, and who knows, it's probably going to end up in my spam folder and I'll have to hunt for it. So anyway, this is Roberto signing off. Fight the good fight, and thank you for watching my video.